Hello, beautiful humans of planet Earth and beyond. Welcome to another video on the channel of Ancient Ascension. My name is Paula, and I created this channel to share the wisdom, the blessings, and the information that I receive as I walk forward on my personal medicine pathway, on the pathway of my heart, on the pathway of being in service to the awakening of humanity. And I thought that I would just make a video today a little bit more of who I am and what I do, and just to share with y'all really the life that I live and a little bit about how that I believe that I got here. So I currently live in Ecuador in South America, and I recently finally got a home here, and I love it so much, and it's slowly becoming really my home. And after not having my own home for 5 years now, I got rid of my apartment in 2019 and, have lived in my car, have, lived in a tent, have done all the things, and it feels extra special now to actually have a home of my own and to really start to root myself and create a life for myself, which has been really a long time coming. And I feel like the journey of traveling and simplifying and not having my own home and exploring the world was necessary. It was so much a part of my journey, and I would never want to change anything about it. And I knew that one day I would find the place on this planet where I truly felt was worth settling into. And, the reality of Ecuador and the environment here is perfectly made for who I am. And I am a being that has always felt the call of being in service to others. And right after I got out of high school, I went to massage therapy school because, I almost signed up to go to a university, a college, and at the last minute I was like, they don't really have they weren't offering what my spirit was wanting. I think I was going to go into nutrition because it was the only, kind of like healthy, natural thing that I really wanted to explore. And then at the last minute, my spirit was like, go to this trade school, this massage school, learn a skill where you can immediately start helping people so you don't have to spend so many years in school and spend so much money doing so. So right away, right out of high school, I started getting my hands on the bodies of other people and spending time with humans and, what their issues are and where their tension lies. And I've always had a deep connection with the human body and taking care of it and feeling good in our bodies. And I think I was 17 when I really fell in love with the practice of yoga. And so through my practice of yoga, going so deep into it, realizing how much we can help ourselves heal by paying attention to our body, by breathing through our movements. And, I believe that our bodies speak through sensation. And that's the language of the body, is sensation, whether it's a sensation of illness or tension or pain or openness. That's the way our body communicates to us, any type of sensation. So when I realized that we can actually go inside of our bodies and speak to our bodies through our breath and help our bodies release and heal and realign, it just completely put me on a path of more wellness and taking care of myself, and got my massage therapy license first. And then I think it was 2 years later in 2017 that I got my yoga teaching certificate because I just love the practice so much that I wanted to start to share it with others. And massage and yoga have been a huge part of my pathway. They are really the things that set me off into, honestly, towards the direction of the medicine path that I am now walking and have found and has become my entire life. And I'm so grateful for massage and yoga. And to this day, even here in Ecuador, I I offer massage at the retreat center that I work at, and I also teach yoga classes there. And honestly, through all the places I've lived, whether it's in the States or when I was in Colombia or anywhere I travel, I love having those skills because they're universal. Anywhere you are, if you say, hey, I offer massage, everyone's hand goes up to receive a massage, which really showed me, how much people need help and assistance, and we need each other to feel better. There's nothing like having someone work through your body and your tension and help you breathe and, release that energy. And I'm really grateful for those skills and for my spirit and my younger self for just trusting in that different pathway, because I'm the youngest of 4, and all my 3 older siblings, they all went the route of going to universities, because my mom, wanted them to have a better life than she did. And, I totally understand and respect that path. And when I was younger, I had this feeling of like, man, I have to do that too, like who would I be to not go to a university like them? But I'm really grateful that I chose a different route and, don't have a degree or a master's in anything, but it just really did not resonate with me. Like I enjoyed school, but I'm a hands-on type learner. I'm teach me how to teach yoga, teach me how to use my hands on bodies. And I'm really grateful that I really stayed true to myself from so early on and, just trusted like, yeah, it's not like the most professional or PhD, type thing, but it's what I want to do, and I'm so glad that I did that. I'm so glad that I did that because I think being in the space of, guiding people through a practice or holding space for them in massage sessions or Reiki, it really put me on this pathway of wanting to develop myself and be the best version of myself that I could to do the best work that I could. And that is initially the first thing that brought me down to South America, to Colombia. I heard of these plant medicines. I heard of ayahuasca. I heard of sweat lodges. I heard, how profound and powerful they could be. And one day I was teaching and I was like, man, I feel like I still have so much, stuff that I'm holding on, and who am I, to lead these people and to help other people when I myself feel kind of like heavy and stuck and not really living truly in alignment with the way that I could. I was still drinking. I mean, I was young. I'm only 29 now. And so I was like 20, 21, 22. But I could feel, I was like, how am I going to show up to teach a yoga class in the morning when I'm hungover? Like, I was like, something is not right here. Like, I don't like this, imposter syndrome 100%. So yeah, the drive to want to help people and, show up to the people who trust in me in the best way that I can with the cleanest energy that I can was a huge driver of why I felt called to the medicines in the first place. And I'm so grateful for that. I feel like that was, my integrity coming forward saying like, if you really want to help people, like, I think you should get your shit together, and I was just curious. And I feel like forever I've had this innate sense of like, I want to be the cleanest, like best version of myself with all the tools that can help me be the best version of myself. And so that's really what called me down to the plant medicine world, and really no expectations. I had no idea, I was like, I just want to do some ceremonies. I want to see what these ancient practices are about, these traditions that have clearly helped so many people, like just curiosity. And then by the grace of the Great Spirit in 2020, I got quarantined in Colombia with a medicine community. And that was probably one of the greatest things that could have happened for me. Because it allowed me to stay with that community longer than 3 months, because in that year they stopped all visa. They closed the borders and they said, it doesn't matter how long you're here. When the borders reopen, we'll think about visas. And so I was able to be in Colombia for almost a year, without any visa stuff to deal with. And oh man, what a blessing. Like, I got to live in a community that is completely revolved and completely believes in the traditions of the Red Road. And it blew my mind. The power of living in community, the power of communal healing, the power of certain medicines, the power of living with children, with elders, with adults, and trying to come together every day to get the necessary work done, like gardening, building buildings, cooking in the kitchen, all the things. And that was just pure medicine for me. And once I experienced that and the culture and the wisdom and the kindness surrounded by the traditions of the medicine world, or even just the Red Road, the tradition of seeing everything as sacred and seeing our brothers and sisters as sacred, completely changed the pathway of my life. Completely changed the pathway of my life. And I, eventually needed to go back to the States because I was running out of money, and I think borders were opening soon. And as soon as I got back to the States, I was like, okay, I'm just going to make enough money so I can get back down to South America. Like, that was my number one mission. And now, the next place I came was Ecuador. Started volunteering at a plant medicine retreat center, fell in love with the place. If you want to know where I work at Gaia Sagrada in Ecuador. The owner's name is Christine Breeze, and she is a sister, a friend, a teacher, a mentor. She's everything to me, and the place is incredible. The place is absolutely incredible. It's a nonprofit, and everything is done so right there. It provides people a safe space to experience these traditions. She brings Ecuadorian shamans to the place, and for people to feel safe. And, we speak English there because we receive people from all around the world. And it's just, she is one of the biggest inspirations to me, because she had this idea in her mind that she completely manifested into reality. And my respect, my love. And I started as a volunteer there because, to me, I know that being in service is the answer for me. I did so much of my own deep healing work in Colombia. I was really focused on myself, to clean, to clear, so that I could show up to other people in the best way, and so that I could show up to myself in the best way. Not surpassing my own healing just to help others. I wanted to fully go into myself and remove all the panema, all the old dense energies that no longer serve me, and set myself on a better track. And that's exactly what happened. And I quickly became a staff member at this retreat center, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity. I'm so grateful for the life that I get to live, and to be, in such important service work to people who come to this retreat center to heal, to trust in us, to face themselves, to choose a better way. And I have so much respect for everyone who comes there, for everyone who explores the plant medicine world, because it's not always easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it. They don't always make you feel good. Ayahuasca, San Pedro, all these medicines are just reflecting to you clearly what you have inside of you. I was just assisting in a San Pedro ceremony yesterday, and some people were super uncomfortable in the ceremony and on the medicine. And it's like, you're uncomfortable within yourself. You're uncomfortable with something within yourself, and that's all the medicine is showing you. A shaman always says, like, if you come up to one of us in the ceremony and say, I don't feel good, I don't like the way I feel, and we say, why? The wrong answer is because of the medicine. It's not because of the medicine. We all drink the same medicine, and how we experience it is truly from within. It's from all the energies that we're holding, and they're just showing us. And I just love that. I'm so grateful, and I just wanted y'all to kind of understand a little bit of who I am and the work that I do. And I assist in San Pedro ceremonies, I assist in ayahuasca ceremonies, I work with the fire, I sing in ceremony, I pray in ceremony, I provide massage, I teach yoga, and I'm just constantly in support of people, turning to themselves to truly heal, to create a better world for all of us, to clean up our realities and leave the future generations a better world, a better reality. And I love that my life is in that frequency. It gives me so much hope to receive people every single month who are ready for that. It's like the shift is happening now. The shift has been happening for a while, but in my reality, it's, like I'm boots on the ground working through the muck of people releasing their old stuff, which is such an honor. And I'm so grateful for that. And I was just thinking on the ceremony yesterday, and I think one of the reasons that I'm so in love with my life, and I have this super unique life experience, of taking risks, of trusting in my heart, of just going to where my spirit is saying yes, even if it makes zero sense to me logically, is because I have taken responsibility for my life. I've taken responsibility for my healing. I've taken responsibility for all the traumas and the things that have happened to me in the past. And I have rewritten the narrative that I speak to myself, that I wrap around my traumas. We each have to give our trauma a reason that they happened. We have to give our childhood a reason, and not just any reason, an empowering reason. We have to flip the way we're looking at life. It's not happening to us. It's not beating us down. It's happening for us. And every single challenge, every single hardship, every single, what the fuck moment in life is happening for us. It's for the greater evolution of our soul. It's for the greater evolution of our spirit. I completely see school, Earth, as a spirit school. I think we're all here to learn and evolve. Life happens to evolve, to continue forward and continue to get better and more intelligent and more aware and more healed. And I truly believe that that's why we are all here. And I think it's important to share that, and that's really one of the main messages of San Pedro ceremonies, or 4 tobacco ceremonies, is the third round is the round of power. It's the round of self-responsibility. It's the round of honesty. It's the round of integrity, where we can really, especially with the medicines, start to look at our lives and look at ourselves and be honest with ourselves. And be honest with the way that we speak to ourselves. Be honest with the way that we're looking at this reality, because perspective is everything. Be honest with how we're giving our power away in this life, who we're pointing our fingers at, saying, I'm this way because of this person. It's because of my mom. It's because of my dad. It's because of my siblings. It's because this person hurt me when I was a child. And one of the greatest things that the owner of Gaia Sagrada says is that true masters don't blame. They don't even have to forgive, because they don't point the finger and put blame in the first place. And that's what the medicines truly teach us, is to take responsibility for our lives, to take responsibility for our energy, to take responsibility for the way we want to experience this reality, because each of us are the center of the universe. We are each the center of this entire universe for ourselves. And we each have the creation power, the perspective power, to shift the way that we see this reality. And I've been shifting my reality for years, like trying, first with yoga and body work, and then plant medicines, and being in service to people, and moving my environment on this planet, going to different places to see, do I like this place? What do I not like about this place? Where do I want to be? I spent 5 years literally since 2019 to 2024, feeling like I don't belong on this planet because I could not, it was like, I just want to move. I'm not sure, changing my reality, healing, cutting people out, finding new community, stopping drinking, stopping doing drugs, like changing everything that I put into my body, changing my thoughts, changing what I eat. Changing the way I view medicines and, and life, seeing everything as sacred, praying to the nature spirits, utilizing the spirits of this natural world and really changing the way that I see this reality. And that has completely changed my life. 5 years ago when I left my apartment, I had no idea that I would be walking so deeply on this pathway of medicines, on this pathway of service, on this pathway of true, real healing for other people and getting to be a part of that. And I truly believe the only reason that I'm here is because I have taken my power back. I take responsibility for my life. I take responsibility for the way I've reacted to the people who hurt me. I take responsibility for the situations and the positions that I've put myself in. Because everything that happens to us in this life, we are calling in one way or another. Even as a child, I believe that we all agree to what we're going to experience in this life before we even get here. And for some reason, my soul chose these certain issues and traumas in my childhood so that I can be fortified into this unique expression of my spirit in the physical form. And starting to really be grateful for those experiences. Like, wow, I am so real. I can really connect to other people. I know what it feels like, to experience low points in life. I know what it feels like to feel unloved, to feel abandoned, to feel hurt as a child. And I'm so grateful for those experiences now and everything that has happened. And even as I continue forward, the challenges will always be there. Life is not meant to be comfortable. We're not all meant to be healed and happy-go-lucky all the time. We are meant to grow. We are meant to evolve. And that requires challenge. That requires, growth is uncomfortable. When we're shedding our snakeskin and we're entering into a new form of ourselves, it's uncomfortable. But that's why we're here. And moving forward, I always say thank you so much for the challenges. Thank you so much for the growth. Thank you for the hardships. Thank you for the what the fuck moments, because without those, man, I would feel like I was barely alive, and I just wanted to share that today, a little bit about who I am. If you don't know who I am, that's in a nutshell my story, how I got here. Obviously, many things have happened in between that, but truly, working with these sacred sacraments has really shown me how powerful it is to take responsibility for your life. Start writing your own life story. Start, shifting your perspective in the way that it empowers you, to the way that it allows you to see the magic that is all around you, and being grateful the whole way. Being so grateful the whole way. So grateful every time I drink water. So grateful every time I have a plate of food in front of me. So grateful to the farmers. So grateful to Father Sky for raining onto the earth so food can grow. So grateful for the fresh air in my body. So grateful for the warmth of Grandfather Fire. So grateful for the support of Mother Earth and allowing to rest my head, in a nice shelter, in a nice home every single day. So grateful. Taking responsibility with gratitude for every single thing that has happened to us and saying, thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, Great Spirit. Thank you, Universe. Whatever it is, thank you, Creator. Thank you, because I know that everything that I experience is for the greater good of myself and is for the greater good of all involved. That's all I can really say. I just felt like sharing since I just did a ceremony yesterday and it was powerful. Wow, lots of growth happened yesterday. really the medicine of trust was just pulsing through the medicine, like trust the medicine, because holding people in that space with medicine is quite the challenge, and having the opportunity to assist in that is such real good growth for my spirit. And I'm so grateful that my spirit has chosen this path. And that's all I can really say today. Remember that it's up to you. It's up to you how you want to live your life. It's not up to anyone else. We are the only ones in charge of how healed we are, how good we feel, how we think of ourselves, how we think of others, what we think of humanity. We are the only ones who have control of that. We are the only ones who can truly make ourselves sick. We are the only ones who can truly heal ourselves. So I hope that my story helps in some way or another. Many blessings to each of you. Like this video, comment on this video, and share it if you'd like. That's it for now. Many blessings to each of you. Thank you so much for watching, and happy living and happy taking responsibility.